So what's something that you believed when you first started teaching that you no longer believe?
I definitely thought that I had to be the giver of knowledge, that I had to know it all before my students and that I needed to impart my knowledge onto them. I definitely had that feeling going into teaching. I definitely don't feel that way anymore, especially with computer science. It's such a broad subject and there are so many languages and, nobody can be the expert in everything. And really, to be a good computer science professional of whatever, you need to have the skills of learning yourself. Not learning specifics, but being able to teach yourself, learn to do things on your own that aren't cut and dry.
Yeah, so I have a lot of questions about that. So what do you think led to your initial belief that you needed to have all the knowledge? Because I had that as well, and I have my own thoughts on that, but I'm curious what yours are.
I don't know if it's just from, old school. When I was going to school, I just felt that the teachers knew and I didn't. Maybe it was a little bit insecurity just going in thinking that I needed to have the answers right then for the students whenever they had a question.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where else I got that attitude. It was just something that I was ingrained in me, I guess.
I know for me, part of my transition was that when I was in school and I was observing teachers, I didn't observe their thought processes. So I didn't know what they were thinking, why they were doing things. I didn't know when they may or may not have had an answer. So I always assumed that they did. But then when I actually started teaching, I was just like, oh, wait, I actually don't know everything that I need to know to be able to do this. I'm constantly learning new things, whether it was when I was teaching music or teaching coding or whatever. That for me was kind of like a catalyst that helped shift my mindset away from that. I'm wondering, was there anything in particular that led you to where you are now and why you no longer believe that?
I think it was when I first started this job, coding was not a part of my curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
It was just long ago when I started that there weren't all these websites, that you could teach coding. It wasn't something that people were thinking about, and there weren't the resources to do that. I know I remember looking into it and I couldn't find any way to really teach coding. So my job at the time was to teach basic computer skills. And that, I had done so much teaching, Microsoft and everything that I did know pretty much all the answers.
Mm-hmm.
And when I started going into coding, realizing that, even if I do know really the answers, that's not the way to teach it, because seeing them discover things on their own was so much more powerful. And so I think that's probably more where I kind of made that transition.